Welcome back, everyone. Buying a home has long been part of the American dream, but some feel like they're being priced out. In an attempt to make home buying more affordable, President Trump is floating the idea of a 50-year mortgage. Basic concept is a longer loan means a smaller monthly payment, but is it worth it? We have an expert here. I'm joined by Emily Bort. She is a senior loan officer with Movement Mortgage. Thanks so much for being here.
Yes, of course. Thanks for having me.
So we're going to break down some of these proposals coming out of the Trump administration, not only the 50-year mortgage, but also some other things that they've been floating around. Let's start with the 50-year mortgage, though. What would that be like? Is it just like a 30-year mortgage that we're used to, but longer?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It would just be, instead of the 30-year payment, it would be paid out over 50 years. The initial payment, well, not the initial payment, the payment would be lower over those 50 years, but the borrowers would end up paying a lot more interest over the term, and that's some of the reasons it's been getting some criticism after it's been announced.
I did want to ask you, what are some of the pros and cons in your opinion?
Yeah, I think a lot more interest over the life of the loan. It will help with affordability and help a few more people be able to qualify for a home, but I don't think it addresses the whole issue of just the cost of housing and how affordability is out of reach right now. I think we need to focus more on inventory, because a lot of these band-aids that they're throwing out there are just going to increase buyer demand, and increasing buyer demand without also increasing inventory is just going to keep prices going up. So we really need to start looking at supply and how to get new homes for first-time home buyers especially.
And if the Trump administration were to push something through like a 50-year mortgage, do you think that lenders and banks would even play ball with that?
I think some of the niche lenders could turn a switch and offer that, but I don't think the traditional banks would necessarily do that. Mortgages are bought and sold on the secondary market, and so we don't really know if investors would like that increased risk for that longer duration. I think we definitely would see a higher interest rate associated with those loans, which that would just start to erode the fact that the payment is lower to begin with.
Okay. And another headline that we've seen come out of the Trump administration is this idea of portable mortgages. That one has been a little bit more recent. What do you think about that? How would that work, and do we see that in other places?
Yeah, this idea is a lot more interesting to me, because I do think it could start to free up some of the locked-in inventory. We have so many home buyers that are sitting on those 2% and 3% interest rates and that aren't willing to sell because they can't match that rate. So the portability would mean it'd just be like a cell phone where you can take it with you to your next carrier. You would be able to take your mortgage with you if you were to move. So in our country right now, our mortgages are tied to a property, but in other countries, they're tied to a person. So you could take that mortgage with you to the next property. I think that still remains to be seen whether we could implement such a change in the way we do business, and the way mortgages are traded in the market would also have to change.
That was the next question I had for you, which would be, could the system actually work like that, and how long would something like that take to implement, right? Because they are tied to our properties.
Yes, it would be an administrative hassle for sure. The government would have to, again, change the way we do businesses. We're talking at the county level, the way we record documents. There's ways that we qualify borrowers that would have to change. So I think whether that is going to be a quick fix, I'm not sure. In other countries that have it, it's not like it's applied to all mortgages. It's just some products have the portability feature. And so we'll also have to kind of look at how other countries do it and whether we start to do that here in the U.S.
Very interesting. Something else that came up today actually is we just got new information saying that more Americans are taking out adjustable rate mortgages. Can you explain what those are? Because those have been around, or those are a possibility.
Yes, so adjustable rate mortgages were a bad word back in 2008. A lot of home buyers were taking them out, and we were qualifying them on that lower interest rate than a fixed rate. And then when the loan would start adjusting, people couldn't afford their payments. So the last several years, we have not been offering adjustable rate mortgages, just because the spread didn't make sense. A fixed rate mortgage had the same or lower rate than an adjustable rate. But now that things are kind of improving in that regard, we are seeing the lower rate or the adjustable rates are a little bit lower. And so some people are starting to take them out. We do still qualify people, or we do qualify now on the higher payment, so there's less risk. And so it's not anything like it was back in 2008. We're not using these products to try to force people into a payment. We really are a lot more conservative in how we're doing it.
Okay, so that can be an option for some people out there.
Absolutely, yeah.
I want to end on this. I want to ask you about your best advice for viewers who are either buying or selling right now because of all of this information coming out, the possibility of all these different types of mortgages. What should they be focused on? What should they study before they, decide to buy or sell?
Yeah. I think my biggest advice is just to try to ignore the noise. You need to stay focused on the things that you can control, your timeline, your goals, your finances, because those are the things that you can really make a difference in so that you can get into a home sooner. I also think partnering with a local realtor and a local lender is really going to be your secret weapon in winning, because if you're working with people that really know your particular market, they're going to be able to help you craft offers to be able to win.
And your particular situation too, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Emily, thank you so much for being here with us. Emily Bort, appreciate the expertise.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And yeah, you can find much more information. We'll recap this story for you on our website, king5.com.